A lot of the rest of the chapter focuses on Fugetsu and Fugetsu's potentiality of either being cursed by another prince and their guardian spirit beast. They completely suspect at this very moment to be Prince Loserus. She has this injection mark on her back, and we've had those evil spirits and weird things draining her ability. Fugetsu has also been able to use her ability more than once a day, even though she started off having Love's Door only once a day. Now she's using it multiple times per day, figuring out all of these different information and doing all of these things, and it's clearly having an effect on her. And they even mention that the curse is tricking her into using her ability more than once a day, even though she can't, and that's why she's draining so much of her life force. Obviously, the curse is draining her life force, but the fact that she is overexerting her power much more than she's supposed to, because this curse is making her think she can, is also draining her way faster than it was, to the point that multiple people assess her and think that she's not even going to be able to survive 10 more days if these curses keep affecting her. One thing that is important to remember, though, is that even though Loserus's Nen ability makes sense, or their Guardian Spirit Beast ability makes sense, it's very unlikely that this curse would come from someone that is a prince, because the Guardian Spirit Beasts are, one, not able to harm other princes, they're also not able to harm each other. Now, they can do it in indirect ways. That's why the one of the first princesses that died, she had the Are You Free Nen ability, where she was able to turn prince's guards into bloodthirsty murderers that would kill everyone around them. And then if the prince died in that bloodthirsty murder spree, then, oh, well, sheesh, that sucks. Loserus's Guardian Spirit Beast ability is said to materialize whatever the target desires. And as the target continues to satiate this desire, its trap will have been sprung. You could technically argue that that is directly Loserus attacking Fugetsu, but also at the same time, as Melody and Kacho talk about it, she could have accidentally stumbled upon the trap. If Loserus is just laying traps everywhere, and Fugetsu just so happened to be one of the people that accidentally sprung one of them, it wouldn't necessarily be Loserus attacking a prince, would it? It would be just happen chance. And it's interesting too, because Melody and Kacho directly call out how it's almost baiting Fugetsu into using her ability more and more and more. Like they mentioned, right? She's only able to use it once, but she's using it multiple times. It's showing her that she can use it multiple times and showing her all these new amazing things that she can learn and figure out, but also at the same time clearly affecting not only just her life energy, but her emotional state. They mention it's very similar to drugs. It's almost like she's addicted to a drug and she keeps using it and using it and using it, even though at the end of the day, it's not the best idea. She can't help herself. And that's why they directly assume Loserus has something to do with it, because if you remember, Prince Loserus is one of the princes that directly influence the mafia, directly influence the underground world of the Kaken Empire. Specifically, he funds their drug trade. That's why he's Mr. Weed Smoke. That's why he's always high as hell. When you see him, he's always smoking on something. So it makes sense that his Guardian Spirit Beast would also reflect that drug lord archetype. If that was all the information that we had to work off of, I would immediately say, yeah, Loserus is the culprit, cut and dry, without any questions whatsoever. One thing that also makes this questionable, Loserus is technically one of the children of Dwazul. Is it possible that Loserus, who has just gone under the radar for so many of the other princes to the point that he's not even really a major target of a lot of them, what if he has his own Nen ability, and that's the case? Sure, the Guardian Spirit Beast has a very similar ability to what may be affecting her, but who's to say the Guardian Spirit Beast isn't also a huge reflection of what Loserus's own Nen ability could be? What if Loserus's own Nen ability, if he's really that Mr. Drug guy, what if that pulls him even further into, drug Hatsu in general? Again, his Guardian Spirit Beast can't directly harm another prince, but his Nen ability directly can, that's for sure. I think Prince Loserus being a Netero child can't be completely thrown out of possibility. However, again, my money is much more on Sorodnik. The way that we interact with a lot of these princes this chapter is directly revealing Kacho's death to all of the different princes in the Succession War. That's how they're going to be able to directly involve themselves and not only gauge the reactions of the other princes off of Kacho's death, but they'll also, one, be able to gauge the who is potentially cursing Fugetsu as well. Primarily what Kaiser wants to do, as we kind of mentioned before, is destabilize the current status of the Succession War. He writes a bunch of different death letters to all of the different princes. We see here that Prince Benjamin gets a political letter as Fugetsu visits him. She gives him a very non-political, very simplistic, very normal, run-of-the-mill death letter that announces her death as like a simple will or whatever. Two interesting things happen in this interaction with Prince Benjamin that are beneficial to not only Kaiser. Prince Benjamin is able to instantly, like no problem whatsoever, exorcise Fugetsu's curse. A couple things with this Guardian Spirit Beast interaction. One, this means that Benjamin's Guardian Spirit Beast is super OP, because if it's able to exorcise the curses around Fugetsu, that means it's either an exorcism type Guardian Spirit Beast, which is insanely beneficial to Benjamin, because that means not only will he be able to be cursed, which means the one unwanted that's been working for Camilla the longest and has been cursing Prince Benjamin her whole life, who has thought about Prince Benjamin and is like, oh, I've been thinking about you all day, I can't wait to meet you and kill you, may completely be all for naught, because Prince Benjamin's Guardian Spirit Beast will just immediately exorcise whatever curse comes his way. This could be a secondary ability, this could just be a passive ability, this could not even be what Benjamin's Guardian Spirit Beast is mainly for. But either way, passively, Prince Benjamin already has complete protection against against Nen curses, as well as the ability to exercise other Nen curses, albeit temporarily. Now, that could just be because of Fugetsu's curse. Benjamin mentions specifically that Fugetsu's curse isn't another Guardian Spirit Beast's ability. It's not a Nen user's Hatsu afflicting her or anything like that. It is legitimately Fugetsu's despair over losing her sister, just lowering her life energy so much to the point that low-level evil spirits and curses are just amassing around Fugetsu and draining her life energy. Like, these spiritual entities are just being created from her depression as a whole. Benjamin admits not only does she probably only have 10 days left, but that, you know what, this isn't anyone's scheme, no one's fucking with her, she's essentially killing herself inadvertently. Going into what Prince Benjamin inadvertently reveals is the fact that Prince Benjamin waiting to enact and deploy the military, the martial law of the Kaken Empire at a moment's notice. We see him even mention this a little bit earlier in the Succession War arc with Balsamico, and Balsamico mentions it's too soon to bring out martial law yet, because once martial law goes out, not only will it destabilize the entire Black Whale and the Kaken society at the moment, but it will completely put all of the cards in Benjamin's hands, because we've already seen that Balsamico is able to take advantage of Hulkenberg being in a contained area to essentially assassinate them. If they can martial law and basically either board everyone in a small place, or not only that, but take control of everyone's guards, security, and just the entire situation, Prince Benjamin will essentially win the Succession War. All the cards will be in his hand. So even though they can't really do much to stop him, Kaiser is very pleased with the reveal that they know that Prince Benjamin is waiting for the moment to release martial law. He just needs a reasonable circumstance and event to justify occupying everything with martial law. If he does it for nothing, it'll be sus and he could be held on trial. He has to play it politically. What they learn from Luzurus is, one, that Luzurus acts very unaware of the curse that is on Fugetsu. Whether that be because he is the person that is cursing Fugetsu and he doesn't want to make it obvious that he's the one doing it, so he doesn't acknowledge it. It could also mean that, one, my theory of Luzurus being a prior Nen user before the Succession War was wrong, and that he just can't see the evil spirits because he doesn't have Nen activated. Going into what I said a little bit more about the destabilizing Kaiser is doing through subtle leaking, again, we kind of talked about it a little bit. Sorodnik's crimes. Most importantly, it is Prince Hulkenberg's birth, and the secrets surrounding it are potentially set to cause division. They want to give that letter to Prince Hulkenberg, because even though the Kaken military and empire won't give a fuck about Sorodnik's crimes, Hulkenberg, who is very close to Sorodnik, will very much care about Sorodnik's crimes. Again, Hulkenberg is a very benevolent, very democratic, very good-natured man. He only becomes quote-unquote evil or starts taking matters into his own hands during the Succession War when he has no choice. So he's a good-natured person. Saradnik is 110% not playing Hulkenberg like a fiddle, but Hulkenberg definitely does not know about Saradnik's crime. So this will taint Saradnik's in Hulkenberg's view. So that will make Hulkenberg and Saradnik opposed to each other, because Hulkenberg will not like Saradnik anymore. But two, the letter that gets to Luzerus is also trying to cause division between Saradnik and Luzerus, because Kacho claims that Saradnik is the person that she really does not want to be king of all, which even Luzerus mentions is weird. He's like, look, I'm going to play it off and act like I'm invested in this death and everything, and that this is all news to me, but I find it very sus that this reads more of you trying to make me not like Saradnik than a genuine death letter from one of my siblings. So Luzerus is already well aware that there are potential issues in their plan. I already mentioned that Fugetsu's curse does come back. Thankfully, we've got Basho, who uses his poetry Hatsu in order to actually exercise the low-level curses again and keep them off of Fugetsu, which is even more likely that if Benjamin exercised the curses that were on her before, if it really is her subtle depression and her own self causing the curse to appear on herself, that would explain why they come back. But we still don't know for sure what is in regards to this. We can take Benjamin's words as pretty strong evidence because he knows what he's talking about, but at the same time, he could be wrong. Even though it doesn't get rid of the injection that may be causing the curse, it at the very least will remove them from sucking her energy. Now they just need to find out how they can stop Fugetsu from using the ability, which Kacho even mentioned should be pretty easy. They should just tell her that it's dangerous for her to use it. Melody is about to perform again, which we've already mentioned even last stream and last chapter review, how that could be bad because Melody performing again, now that everyone is much more prepared for it, we already know that all of the Nen users that have now learned Nen are going to be ready and blocking the music from affecting them. So we're going to have a lot more people that are able to stay awake during the Melody's music. So a lot more problems are going to occur for the princes and people that aren't aware of Melody's trick that are going to be asleep, while a lot more people are going to be awake. So Melody's next performance is going to open up a lot of opportunity for more princes to die. But not just that. You also have, again, the things that Kaiser did in sending off all of these death letters for Kacho that are going to be causing one extra division in the princes as a whole, and are going to be lighting fires under princes' asses. We already see Benjamin and Luzerus both go, okay, I need to take this as it is and start making moves, because one, Benjamin is worried already about Hulkenberg, but now that other princes are going to start making their moves, Luzerus is worried about what the fuck other princes are working on and wants to start making their move. You've got Hulkenberg, who is mentioned by Kaiser to have had a large commotion occur around where they were being detained and has been unconscious. So this time when Hulkenberg activated their Nen ability, they didn't make someone else unconscious or attack someone else, they themselves became unconscious. Could this be because of Balsamico and Balsamico's poison actually working and taking Hulkenberg out? That would be pretty bad. Hulkenberg learned how to use their ability a little bit better than before, as I mentioned, and now Hulkenberg is actually learned to use Possession Arrow on himself and transfer his consciousness to either a close guard or to Balsamico to get close to First Prince Benjamin, or to take out Princess Camilla and take her over. Or one of Prince Hulkenberg's guards were able to infiltrate and he was able to use their ability. We'd already know that a large rumbling occurs every time Hulkenberg uses his Nen ability. It could very much be that Hulkenberg used his own Nen ability and that's what caused Hulkenberg to be unconscious. And at that point, what happened is a wild card and we won't know, because it could be an evolution of Possession Arrow, Balsamico doing something, or something else entirely. So they can't deliver the letter to Hulkenberg yet that has the crimes of Saradnik and the secrets about his birth. However, the person that was able to open that same letter, because the letter that they made for Hulkenberg, they gave to Kurapika as well. So now, all of these secrets, Saradnik's crimes, which may not matter as much to Kurapika as they will to Hulkenberg, but mostly Hulkenberg's secrets of birth are going to be revealed to Kurapika. Again, we don't know exactly what that is. Is Hulkenberg Beyond Netero's child? That would be beneficial information to Kurapika because he just made a contract to find out who that prince is. He gets a special boost for figuring it out. So is this the exact information that Kurapika needs to fulfill that contract? And is the 1 week of Zetsu that we've been worried about being hung over Kurapika's head immediately going to go away? The big reveal that they revealed to Kurapika, and they plan on revealing to the Hulkenberg, is what Kacho and Fugetsu found out. There is no escape possible for the succession war. No prince can escape or they will die. The only way out of the succession war is making it to the Dark Continent, whether only one prince remains after that or not. So Kurapika is now in the know of a lot of these very big secrets that can potentially help him maneuver in this crazy death trap he's got himself in. And that's why I think we get the editor's comment of the key to ending the succession contest, or the succession contest heating up, because a lot of this chapter, again, where not much happened, a lot of information is solidified that makes sure that the next couple of chapters are going to have a lot happen. A lot is going to occur at not just Melody's next performance, but in the next couple of days going forward, as a lot of these princes begin to start making active moves in the succession war. A lot of things have been very slow chess playing. Now we're getting into some serious shit. Oh, I mean, the last thing that I want to discuss is whether or not Kaiser is working undercover for another prince, or is just outside of the succession war, like beyond entirely. Melody multiple times has not been able to feel Kaiser's heart, as they've been, one, making plans with each other in regards to this big conspiracy, but also Kaiser claims that he fell in love with Melody after hearing her music, and his heart doesn't skip a beat at all when saying that either. Now, Kaiser could just be an emotionless king, you know, he could just be, you know, super Sigma, and not, his heart isn't moved at all by anything. He's just very political, very to the point guy. But Melody deems that as a reason to not trust him completely. Even though she doesn't feel like he's lying, she doesn't feel like the words that he's saying are from the heart, or with all of his self and all of his emotion behind them. So while he doesn't exactly give himself off as an enemy, she's suspicious of him entirely. And while we haven't seen any possible connections to what Kaiser could be trying to set up or who he could be working for, I think it's interesting in regards to knowing, one, the queens have their own conspiracy that I've talked about. Beyond also has people in the Kaken Empire. Not for nothing, I mean, we know Kaiser works for the Department of Justice, concerned with getting Hulkenberg the letter. He could be working for Hulkenberg, or at the very least working to change the entire political landscape of Kaken as a whole. He's a member of the Department of Justice, and maybe he says, fuck this empire shit, man. I'm done with this. The people need to take this civilization back. So there's a lot of different ways that Kaiser could go, but I think that's also very important to bring up. Despite the fact that he's helped us a lot, I think it's important to realize at this point, even though people are helping us, we don't always know their true intentions or who their true loyalties lie to. How do you think the lower decks will influence the main plot here, and what's Dogman's mission? I don't know what the hell Dogman's mission would be. Marina and the Hei Lee family are very much wild cards as a whole, because even though they're meant to cause just pure chaos and kill as many people as they can to get more power and just completely just debilitate and potentially not sink, but metaphorically sink the Black Whale and the succession war as a whole. I mean, Morena and Dogman and Contagion as a whole are all chaos. The lower decks definitely are going to have a big issue because they're basically all just sacrifices for the succession war. All of the people in the lower decks are not coming out of this easily.